saying a lot of what I'll be saying here. So that means we're all on the same wavelength. We want to change, we want to make a difference excuse me, to individuals' lives. And as one of the presenters said, we're not just talking about children, we're talking about everyone. And here, we're talking about India. I'm talking about the whole world, because the whole world needs to be more active. But at the moment, we're focusing on India and what's important on India. And I'd first of all like to thank the ICC, colleagues at Vidanya and colleagues from the IPLA for the work that's gone into putting on this great workshop, where I've had the pleasure of working with 30 teachers from across the area and sharing the concept with them. And also for putting on this day so we can share it and we can talk even more. So thank you to everyone for putting this on. And obviously the teachers have seen vast majority of this, so they know it. Hopefully they could come up and talk about it as well. First of all, a little bit about me. I was a PE teacher for 29 years in 4 different schools. So I had a range of experience. I then went to train teachers at university. I did that for 9 years. During that time, I found the concept of physical literacy, as did Amit, with Margaret Whitehead. I'll talk more about Margaret later, but essentially she was a PE teacher, she was a philosopher. She did a lot of research and she developed the modern interpretation of the concept. And again, as one of our speakers said earlier, this isn't that new, but framing it in a concept is the most important part. So I'm also pretty active. I like a whole range of activities, and I personally have flourished through my engagement in physical activity throughout my life. And I've been fortunate, having been able to teach children, to work with teachers who now teach children, that they are now allowing many, many thousands of children to flourish through physical education, physical activity throughout their lives. I'm also fortunate because I retired 4 years ago and started doing this work, which allowed me to travel and to share physical literacy in other continents. So as Amit said, I've been here 7 times, I've been to Taiwan 3 times, I've been to Brazil, just recently in Qatar, but also many other countries in Europe as well. And I really appreciate finding out about the different cultures and how they interpret the concept as well. And finding out about the challenges within each environment. And we know there are challenges, particularly in India, but also in every country throughout the world. Even in the UK, we have these issues, the USA, Canada, and so on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce the concept to you and explain why it's more important, or becoming important globally, and then suggest some ideas of how we move forward. But first of all, there's often confusion about terminology. So many politicians, I get fed up of telling them, use sport as a generic term for everything. So at the start, let's be clear. Sport is competitive, it's competition, it's rules-based, it's organised, it's formal. Okay? What we do is we use versions of sport to teach in schools, to teach children in schools. So we're not teaching them sport, but we're teaching them through sport. We're educating the children. Okay? So sport is different. Physical activity is everything you do. You're walking up the stairs, that's physical activity. You're going for a run, you're playing badminton, you're doing the garden, that's all physical activity. Physical fitness is specific to whatever you're trying to do. So you can be fit to run marathons, you can be fit to play hockey, and your fitness needs to meet the demands on you. So if you sit and just play like this, that's your fitness, your thumb fitness, all right? But it's not very good. Physical education is that time we have in schools where we can impact on them. We can educate them. We can instill an enthusiasm for physical activity for life. But we can also switch them off. So if we give them bad experiences in schools, then that can impact on them for life. Physical literacy you'll find out more about later, and play has been mentioned by many of the people so far. Play is that opportunity to do what we want, do what we choose, but usually play is physical and active. And I look out the window this morning and you see children playing, and they're enjoying it. They're running around. Some are using the ball, some of them aren't. Okay, so let's keep those terms in context. So, as I mentioned, the IPLA was set up 6 years ago with the vision of hopefully getting everyone in the world choosing physical activity for life. And life is two meanings: for the duration of the life and for the life of themselves. Okay? So our role